touch. As with any review, this may contain spoilers. What a story. So good. The third act is highly emotional. I wasn't the only one in the theater shedding tears. The story follows Christopher, a widower who goes on a journey to find his first love, Miko, who disappeared 50 years ago. There are so many layers to the story, and the execution was on point. The way the film weaves between the past and present is successful because it gives you enough time to each timeline. There's an intimacy to the film while taking us on this journey through multiple countries. To top everything off, the present storyline was set at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. I wouldn't say that layer was necessarily needed, but it didn't take away or distract from the main story. I mentioned how emotional the story was at the beginning of this review, but I wonder if the story could have been even more emotional. It was mentioned that Christopher tried to look for Miko 20 years ago, but was unsuccessful. It's uncertain if he was married at the time or when he became a widower. I wonder if that part of the story was shown, how impactful it would have been to the story. It was also mentioned that Miko searched for Christopher and found him, but when she did, he was married. The plot gave anime vibes. It would have been an anime if every time they tried to reunite, something always kept them apart. I mentioned the amount of layers the story had, and perhaps one could argue that it had one too many. Christopher having issues with his memory is one layer. His search for Miko after 50 years is another. Doing the search at the start of COVID-19 is another. The reason for Miko's disappearance 50 years ago is one of the biggest layers, arguably the biggest layer. I would say the reason for her disappearance and what happens at the end are the two biggest layers of the story. The reason for Miko's disappearance is something I've never seen a film tackle. It's an interesting subject matter. Honestly, I'm not sure how successful that storyline was. I don't know if it was as emotional as the filmmakers thought it would be. It might be cultural, and I do think if I were Japanese, it would hit a bit harder. I'm not saying it's not emotional. I'm just not sure if it was executed as well as it could have been. I can't pinpoint why I feel this way, except that I do. Overall, the movie is really good, and it may be worth watching. If you stuck around this long, why not give the video a like, try it out, see if it works, subscribe, check out my other videos, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the film. See you in the next review.